This is our moment.
I'm your host, Cory Phillips.
Time to be great than today.
Off Top Podcast.
To play, Bryant for the lead. Yes!
Time! What's going on, people? Welcome to the Off Top Podcast. Is it episode 32?
33.
Is it 33? No. Are you for real? Wow. Seems like yesterday we're at episode 1. And we're now at episode 33. Thank you guys for tuning in. Welcome to the Off Top Podcast. I am your host, Cory Phillips, the soon-to-be world-famous Off Top Podcast. You can catch us now on any social media platform. We got Facebook. We got Instagram. We got YouTube. We got Spotify. We got Discord. And we got Apple Podcasts. Apple Podcasts, right. Apple Music, whatever. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you guys for the love and support. Please like, subscribe, and share the page. We're almost at the end of June. Damn. Tuesday, June 28th, 2022. Happy summer to everyone. I hope you guys had a good week since last week. Bunch of stuff to get into. I mean, where do we begin? Where do we begin with this week? I mean, since our last episode, we got to talk about, and we will talk about today, the season finale for Obi-Wan Kenobi. I don't know if you guys saw that. I'm not going to spoil anything for you, but we will talk about that. I went and saw Elvis over the weekend. A fantastic movie. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. I'm telling you, it'll be well worth it. It'll be well worth it for you. Lots of stuff going on. NFL, Deshaun Watson in the news today as his hearing started today. His disciplinary hearing started today. We'll get into that. Got some NBA news and nuggets to talk about. We got UFC this weekend. It is technically it'll be 4th of July weekend this weekend, right? It is, 4th of July weekend this weekend. You got baseball. We are going to get into the brawl. We are going to get into the Mariners-Angels brawl from this past weekend on Sunday. Got to talk about that. The suspensions came down yesterday. And then we'll do our weekly NFL preview. Today we're going to Kansas City Chiefs today. We'll preview their schedule. But first, before we get into any of that, yesterday was a big day. It was the 20th anniversary of probably one of the most controversial and popular WWE superstars of all time, and John Cena. They had a show. They had it on his celebration on Monday Night Raw. Now, if you know me, I'm a huge wrestling fan. Been huge. By the way, AEW's Forbidden Door pay-per-view was fantastic on Saturday. This Saturday night, besides UFC, you got Money in the Bank live from the MGM Grand in Vegas. A lot of the line. You got 2 Money in the Bank ladder matches plus 3 championship matches. We'll get into all that. But the men's Money in the Bank is the big one. As we already know, SummerSlam main event is already booked and set for the end of July 31st, as it will be the reigning, defending, undisputed WWE Universal Heavyweight Champion Roman Reigns defending his title against Brock Lesnar in a last man standing match. That match is already booked. Live from Memphis, Tennessee. I almost want to get tickets to go, be honest with you. But yesterday was about John Cena. It was his 20th anniversary. He's been in the WWE for 20 years as of yesterday. John Cena is a 16-time world champion. He has tied Ric Flair, and he's one of those popular. He's one of the most popular WWE superstars they have had in recent memory. his charitable work with Make-A-Wish Foundation. He holds like a record with 650, a little over 650 Make-A-Wish visits all across the world. He's been in movies. I mean, we saw him in Suicide Squad. He's done it most recently. We saw him in that. The Peacemaker show is a hit. I don't know if anybody has seen Peacemaker. That show is phenomenal. You should check it out. It is on HBO Max right now. But from a wrestling aspect, he's up there with the elite with the Brock Lesnar's, the Undertaker's, the Ric Flair's, the Triple H's, the Randy Orton's, who is one of my favorite wrestlers of all time, the Rock's. I mean, if you look at championships, John Cena, I mean, has well surpassed The Rock. Now The Rock's Hollywood movie status is, I mean, I think he is the top highest paid actor in Hollywood right now. But John Cena, I mean, the ascension is almost symmetrical, except for John Cena wrestled for a lot more years and is still an active wrestler, even though he's been away doing his movies and TV shows and stuff. But as far as titles, I mean, the Rock's only won 8 world championships. John Cena has doubled that. So it is, I mean, do I think he's going to win another championship? I think yes, before he retires. Because John Cena, remember, he's 45. Now, you can look back at the Undertakers who just retired last year. The Rock, who retired when he was in his late 40s. The Rock is still on the active roster, but he only wrestles maybe once or twice a year. Goldberg is still wrestling twice a year, and Goldberg is almost 60 years old. Can John Cena win another championship and go on another run before he's done? Probably. If he stays healthy. That's the problem, like with Edge, who is recently back, and Edge is a little over 40. Ed had neck fusion surgery, so he was out for like 8 years. John Cena hasn't had any major injuries except for he had a knee surgery years ago, but I mean, for the most part, John Cena's in pretty, I mean, if you saw him last night on Monday Night Raw, he's in really good shape. And I was like, damn, this is what we get into? I was like, okay, I see, John. But a lot of love. Me personally, I'm a fan of John Cena's. I've seen him live several times before. Huge fan. There's some people that don't like him. Think he's kind of corny and stuff like that. But I'm like, love him or hate him, he still commands a lot of respect. And you got to respect him for not only his work in the ring, because let's face it, when John Cena is on the marquee, he's on the card, most people go for John Cena. And on top of that, his charitable work outside the ring is what I like. So I just wanted to start off with that. John Cena, big shout out to you, 20 years. And the show was nice because they had all the wrestlers in the locker room come out, and he shook everybody's hand, gave hugs, and then you saw Mr. McMahon come out and introduce you. And I mean, he's been he's probably been the face of the company for the last at least 10 years. Right now, Roman Reigns is that face of the company, but it's been John Cena, and for a long time. I mean, Triple H just recently retired as well, so we'll see if he gets that coveted 17th world title to surpass Ric Flair, because that's the order right now. John Cena and Ric Flair tied with 16 world titles. Triple H has 15, and Triple H is not an active wrestler anymore. And Randy Orton comes up at third with 14 world titles. And Randy Orton is still a very active wrestler, even though he's on the shelf right now due to injury. And Randy Orton's only 38. So, as we just celebrated Randy Orton a couple months ago, his 20th anniversary, because Randy Orton came into business when he was 18. So, Randy Orton's got a few years left, but back problems are no go for any athlete, whether you're a professional wrestler or an NFL player or an NBA player. And speaking of the NBA, leads me into my next topic today is as we know, some players today and yesterday opted in or opted out to their fifth-year option. Notably, Kyrie Irving yesterday opted in, so he's going back to the Knicks. Or the Nets, sorry. Does that mean... I mean, two things about this, about Kyrie. He opted into his fifth-year option. He'll get paid $35.5 million this upcoming season. Now, two things that you should know about this deal. Number one, you shouldn't be surprised that he opted in. Because let's weigh the options. Either he opts into his fifth-year option and gets $35.5 million, or option two, he doesn't opt in and he would get a subsequent money value, a mid-level exception with, say, the Lakers for $6.5 million. I think I'm gonna go with option one and get the $35.5. Now, is he gonna get dealt? The only team that's really interested in him are the Lakers. The Lakers sent him an offer, and the Nets said they weren't interested. Don't know what was in the offer from the Lakers, but he had a wish list that he came out last week. We talked about it on the show last week. Of potential teams that he wanted to go to. The Knicks were on the list. The 76ers were on the list. The Lakers were on the list. And I mean, there were several others. I think there was like 6 or 7 teams that he wanted to go to. None of those teams are interested except for the Lakers. And it would be a sign and trade because you would have to get rid of salary at somewhere, right? Which leads me to what happened today. Russell Westbrook, as expected, opted into his fifth-year option for $47. So that would have been he would have been part of that deal, Russell Westbrook, for Kyrie Irving, and probably some other players and some cash exceptions or whatever. But how many games is this guy going to play? Do you trust him? No, I don't. I said it last week. I don't trust him. He only played 29 games last year. 29. And he's going to have to work for this one if he's going to get paid at any point this year. He's going to have to play. No team is going to, no team, what did the Nets do? They just picked up the phone like, hey, I got Kyrie. Hello? No team is interested. Because, and does Kevin Durant have something to do with this? I think he has a part in the play in this because Kevin Durant came over here because of Kyrie. Now they're gonna try to run it back, and they'll have one more year, and then they'll probably go their separate ways. But I mean, you saw all the tweets from Damian Lillard wanting Kevin Durant to come to Portland, which I'd be 100% down with. I don't know about anybody else. I'd be down with Kevin Durant going to Portland. But Kyrie, it's just like nobody can trust him. I said it from the beginning. You don't play for whatever reason, whether it's COVID, you don't want to get the vaccine, you're having mental health issues, you're having family issues, you're injured, whatever it is, you are not reliable enough for anybody to give you a long-term deal. What did you think was going to happen, Kyrie? You think there was going to be a line of people waiting for you to sign you up for a long-term deal after this bullshit you pulled last year? No. This would be a sign and trade. He'd get his 1 year. He can send him wherever. That's going to be a suitor for him. I think it's either going to be Washington or L.A. because Bradley Beal opted into his contract. He's getting paid $45 million. Maybe Houston. Who knows? But I'm not surprised that he opted in, and it shouldn't be surprising that he's going to. Don't be surprised if he just stays with the Nets for this season. Now, how many games he's going to play, that's going to be the big mystery. But yes, Kyrie opted in. Russell Westbrook opted in. He'll get paid $47.1 million this year. which is disturbing for me as a Lakers fan because I want him gone. I think I want the Lakers to make the right decision and trade him to Washington for Bradley Beal in return. That would make your team better. All this stuff about Kyrie and LeBron playing together again, it makes basketball sense, but it's a locker room headache for the Lakers. The Lakers are cap strapped no matter what they do. So the logic right now is like you just stick it out with Russell Westbrook and you get $47 million off the books to free up for next year. But they're not going to be very good this season coming up. So it's a little bit disturbing that the amount of money these guys are going to get paid, to be honest with you. I mean, especially Russell Westbrook, man. Russell Westbrook was terrible last year. Even though he played most of the games, he wasn't fit into the flow of the offense last year. So, other NBA news, it looks like that the Knicks are the favorites and look like they're close to landing on a deal for guard Jalen Brunson from the Dallas Mavericks. Now, Jalen Brunson, they're looking to get him on a trade, and then after the Knicks traded Kemba Walker in the draft, open up some cap space, bring Jalen Brunson in, they're going to sign him to at least $100 million deal over 5 or 6 years. So, and that's expected. It's a good move for the Knicks, but it's not a fantastic move. It's not that big splash move that he needed. Jalen Brunson's a good player. He's going to give you 16 and 7. RJ Barrett's still there. You got some other pieces with the Knicks, but it's not something that is mind-blowing deal. And then the other news is John Wall, after opting into his contract with the Houston Rockets, they have agreed on terms. They're close to reaching a buyout of John Wall's contract, and then he will get sent to the Los Angeles Clippers. Now, this move is interesting because if the Clippers come back healthy, and I mean healthy, and I'm talking about John Wall being healthy. Now, you got to remember, John Wall did not play a game last season, and he's still getting picked, and they're still working on a buyout of his $45 million contract. If Kawhi Leonard can stay healthy and Paul George, the Clippers are going to be absolutely dangerous. And we will keep our eyes out on that. But that was a huge deal, and I was like, oh my God. If that were to happen, the Clippers could be very dangerous. They could take out the Warriors. That would be the Warriors' direct competition right there, is the Clippers. If everybody stays healthy. But we'll see on that. And speaking of other rumors and deals that I heard over the week, did anybody hear this rumor? And I got Carson on the cameras. What's up, Carson? And we got Lance here on the ones and twos. Did you guys hear this rumor about the Seahawks being close to a deal on Baker Mayfield?
No, I did not.
You did not? Yeah, that's been the big news of the week. Yeah. Kind of leads in because a report came out today. Both sides have moved on. He's not going to be at training camp. Jacoby Brissett, because of the Deshaun Watson deal. Speaking of Deshaun Watson, these stories kind of coincide with each other. Because Deshaun Watson had his litigation today, his disciplinary trial today. And it looks like the NFL is going to suspend him for a year. That's what it's looking like. That's what they're pressing for. Now, 24 of the 25 cases, 22 or 23 of the 25 cases have been dropped or been settled. The civil cases. There's still one or two lingering out there. But this is going because in recent past, when players get in trouble outside of the NFL, they would do an investigation, and then Roger Goodell would sit down and talk to him and put him on the exempt list, and then their initial suspensions would get reduced. But this is actually going through courts, so it's a little bit different. And based on what you're hearing and the investigation, it's basically an appointed investigator from the court system that are doing an investigation on all of Deshaun Watson's dealings. And it'll be going, trial starts back tomorrow. They'll be back, they went today. And basically, they're making a hard press to suspend him for at least a year. Now, will the NFLPA appeal it? Probably. But the appeal process is different. Again, you would go and sit down with Roger Goodell. I mean, I'll give you an example. Michael Vick. Now, Michael Vick already had spent 2 years in prison for the dogfighting. When he got out, he had a 6-game suspension. They reduced it to 2. Okay? So it's not going to work this time around. Where, I mean, like Ben Roethlisberger was allegedly sexually assaulted a couple girls. And then his 8-game suspension got reduced to 4. Now, granted, there was only 2 women and and they settled everything. But this is 24 or 25 women that have come out and said this shit. So, right now, from what everybody is saying, and I was wrong on this number, I thought it was going to be 8 games. They're talking a whole season. Which then leads into the Baker Mayfield story. What are you going to do? What do the Cleveland Browns do? You have Case Keenum and you have Jacoby Brissett on your roster. And apparently there's rumors going around that Baker Mayfield and the Seahawks are close to getting the deal done. Now, I haven't. That's been a report out there. If that were the case, as long as we get them on the cheap, unless we get good compensation in return, because we're going to be paying. I think what they're trying to discuss is how much the Cleveland Browns are going to pay of his salary, because he's due about $25 million. How much the Cleveland is going to pay for his salary? Because I tell you right now, Dan Snyder and the Seahawks are not trying to pick up maybe at the most $8 or $9 million. They're not paying him all that. So we'll see what happens. The Seahawks do need a quarterback. I did say last week I think the good fit for Baker would be San Francisco in a trade for Garoppolo, because Garoppolo is a couple weeks away from coming back from his surgery. So it'll be interesting to see, but this is the news right now. Deshaun Watson more than likely is going to get a year suspension, which Cleveland already had worked it in his contract in case he was going to miss games this year. So the guaranteed money it has less guaranteed money for this upcoming season, and there was clauses in the contract to where if he missed the entire season, they would incorporate it to lesser years. So like in the 2023 season. So interesting story. We'll keep following it as it goes along, but right now Cleveland's in some shit. Let's just put it that way. They're in some real big trouble right now. There was something I saw today that this is going to interest Carson, right? And Carson, I hate to do it to you, but this subject came up yesterday. It was something I saw yesterday, and it was about Dak Prescott. Mm-hmm. And there was a poll out there. Well, there was it was opinion. Like, they were asking people, do you consider Dak Prescott a top 10 quarterback? So they took, yeah? No? So hear me out. Hear me out for a second before we get into the NFL preview. So they asked, so we took 10 quarterbacks right now that are in the league right now. Your 10 best in the league right now. And we compared them to Dak Prescott and see, is he better or is he worse? Is he better or worse than the quarterback? So they started off with Russell Wilson. Who are you taking, Russell Wilson or Dak Prescott? I'm leaning towards Russ. So I'm gonna go through the list right now. So Dak Prescott or Russell Wilson, who are you taking? I'm taking Russell Wilson. Okay, we know you're gonna take Dak Prescott on every single one, so there's no point in me asking you.
I'm probably taking Russell.
Oh, really? Wow, that's surprising. I would have thought you would have went the other
He
way on that.
agrees with the logic, though.
It is logic. So that was a 10th quarter. Then the next quarterback was Deshaun Watson.
Oh.
Okay, you say Dak, but because, ladies and gentlemen, he said Dak Prescott, and I was like, hold on, if Deshaun Watson is not going through this and he's actually playing, Deshaun Watson is a top 5 quarterback. He is good, but he's not playing right now. So I see what you're talking about. So right now, Dak, because Deshaun's not playing. So I have to go with Dak on that one. But with the caveat of knowing that if Deshaun Watson was playing actively, because the last time he played, what did he do? He was lighting everybody up.
Pat Mahomes, OT.
Yeah. So if he was active, right now I'm going with Dak, but if he was active, I'm taking Deshaun Watson all day. The next quarterback on the list was Lamar Jackson. Interesting, right? It is a different style. They played 2 different styles of quarterback. 2 different styles. Lamar Jackson's a scrambling quarterback, where Dak Prescott is more a pocket passer. He can scramble too. For me, I'm personally taking Lamar Jackson. The next one, though. You don't know if you agree with that?
I think I'd take Dak.
Zach says he would take Dak over Lamar Jackson.
Lamar and Dak.
And you guys can comment on this, and maybe we'll put a poll out there. And I'll put this same list out there of quarterbacks. I mean, we're talking top tier quarterbacks in the league right
Dak's
now.
got more experience. He's played longer than Lamar.
Well, no shit, but
I'm just saying, game on the line, Dak tends to play a little bit. I'd say he plays better than Lamar.
I'm leaning with Lamar on this one.
Because Lamar don't play well in crunch time.
You might be right. The next one, Justin Herbert. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Justin Herbert is a defense away, and they got 2 big pieces. I mean, he's lighting them up. Oh, come on, man. Are you kidding me?
That's fair.
Stupid arm strength.
Yes. Just ridiculously good and younger.
And young.
So we said Russell. We went with Deshaun Watson, Lamar Jackson, Justin Herbert, right? Then now we're going into some real deep tier. Tom Brady.
That's not even a question.
Okay, good. I was gonna say
Yeah, I don't care, Brady.
Joe Burrow.
Bro.
You think? I was leaning Dak Prescott on that one.
Joey B.
Really?
Dog, look what happened the one full season he got with Cincinnati.
That's true.
The guy's a winner.
To me, that was a close one. I didn't know what to decide on that one. I was struggling more with that than the Lamar Jackson deal.
Nah, man. Joey B.
Okay.
Joey B's got it all, man.
Okay, Joey B.
Joey B's going to be a force in this league for the next decade.
And then the other ones were
I'd way rather have Joey B than.
Josh Allen,
Josh Allen, of course.
Patrick Mahomes,
Pat Mahomes.
Aaron Rodgers, and then the other one that was on the list was Matthew Stafford.
Stafford.
Yeah.
Really?
I've got a good one though that wasn't on your list. Dak Prescott, Derek Carr.
Derek Carr's not a top 10 quarterback,
Not Derek Carr.
and I would take Dak over Derek Carr. I mean, we can bring it up for just purposes in general,
For the sake of discussion.
for the sake of discussion, and I mean,
There's
I don't consider.
There's a
I
radio
can-
fan somewhere screaming Derek Carr's.
Well, I mean, Derek Carr is a mid-level quarterback. We'll see what he's going to bring to the table this year because you got weapons now. I mean, there's no excuse. I mean, the defense is not it's getting better. It's not at that level yet, but you have weapons to throw to. You have a running game.
There was a name that wasn't mentioned in the top 10 that I think is probably worthy of the talk. Matt Ryan.
He's not a top 10 quarterback. He's on the same
Old
level.
Matt Ryan, yeah.
He's. We're not talking about old Matt Ryan. We're
Matt
talking about
Ryan.
Matt Ryan right now.
I understand, and Matt Ryan was coming out of a bad bad situation in Atlanta and is going to a very good situation.
Right, and right now Matt Ryan is a mid-level quarterback.
Is Matt Ryan better than Dak?
No, absolutely not. Matt Ryan's decent. He's on the same level as Derek Carr right now. Probably a tick above Derek Carr.
Yeah, I was gonna say he's better than Derek Carr.
Yeah, but he's not. He's not in the elite of the elite. Those quarterbacks I just named you that I just listed off, those are your top 10, top 11 in the league. Am I wrong in that? I mean, as order wise, I mean, you can make the argument Patrick Mahomes is number one, or Aaron Rodgers is number one, Josh Allen, Tom Brady.
Brady's still playing. He's still a GOAT.
Yeah. I mean, but still, if you're gonna do the same thing with Brady, Brady's not in that top 4.
No, not.
I mean, the top you can switch it out however you want, but the top 4, you got Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Aaron Rodgers, and then you can put Tom Brady in there if you want. Or you can make a case for Matt Stafford.
You can make a case for Joey B.
Joe Burrow could be in that top 5, top 4, top 5.
Yeah, man.
But those are your elite of the elite. You know what I'm saying? I mean, Justin Herbert he's on that edge between like top 5. He's probably a tick below. He's probably around 6 or 7.
I don't know if I'd give it to him that high. I know everyone loves
Justin Herbert, man,
I wouldn't call him top 5 in the league.
But yeah, right.
He's like.
I'm not saying he's top 5. He's
like
probably
9 or 10.
I put him a little bit ahead of that. I probably put him in that 6 to 8 range.
I think Matt Stafford's better than he is.
I think I do. I do.
I'd say Matt Stafford's. I'd say Russ is better than he is.
Russ is not better than Justin Herbert.
Yeah, he is.
No, he's not.
Yeah, he is.
How so? Did we see what happened? I started with Russell Wilson. That means he's a top 10.
Wins.
Well, that's fine, but the roster that he is on right now doesn't qualify him to put him in that top 5.
I'm with you.
And then if the Broncos sweep the Chargers this year.
Then I'll change it. As of right now, the Chargers are a more elite offense than the Broncos. You just added Russell Wilson, but I mean, if you look at the weapons that the Broncos have compared to what the Chargers got, that's a way better potent offense.
Yeah, we got Cortland Sutton, Jerry.
Man,
Jeudy.
come on. Are you comparing Courtland Sutton to any other wide receivers in Mike Williams,
He's better than Mike Williams.
Keenan Allen?
He's not better than Keenan.
No, he's not.
But he's better than Mike Williams.
Okay, well, let's talk about the running game. Austin Eckler? Yeah.
Melvin Gordon and Javonte Williams.
Austin Eckler's better than Melvin Gordon. Melvin Gordon,
Those guys ran for
terrible.
1,000 yards last year.
Man, come on.
Come on. You just greasing my boys. You know
Yeah,
it.
I'm not greasing nothing. I'm going facts, bro. It's season leaders. Let's do it. I'm gonna go on this. See, now he to open up the. Did we ever find out about that video that you guys said I supposedly said?
About the
I didn't, but
about the Mets?
I'll make sure to
Yeah, because I haven't heard anything back since that shit. Just saying.
Of course, like I don't make wrong predictions on the show.
Okay, where we at here? So we're going off of last season, right? Okay, I might be a little taken aback of that, but it's not by much.
So be it.
So rushing yards, Melvin Gordon had 918.
Mm-hmm.
Austin Eckler had 911.
Okay. How many did Javonte Williams have?
903. Austin Eckler had 12 rushing touchdowns.
And who?
And Melvin Gordon had 8, and Javonte Williams had 4. So Austin Eckler had 12 touchdowns. That's combined from 2 running backs, right?
And we had double the yards.
Oh yeah, that's. Because I'm gonna go back to. Hold on, I'm not
Hey
finished.
man, I'm just saying.
Because that's just rushing. I'm gonna look at.
Hey bro, let's just be honest for 2 seconds, okay? When Drew Lock is your quarterback, you load the box with 8 guys and know they gonna run the ball every play. You can't do that against Justin Herbert.
So on
Just like
top
you did
of that,
us.
Austin Eckler had 647 yards receiving and 8 receiving touchdowns, which is a total of 20.
And where my Broncos running backs in there on receiving?
Oh, we're gonna go there
Okay, that's
because
fine.
I'm sure they didn't have nearly as much.
And I know they didn't. I can tell you that because my quarterback last year threw.
Melvin
like
Gordon,
22
213 yards receiving
Perfect.
and 2 touchdowns.
Ballin'. Sounds like a Wisconsin running back if I've ever heard one.
Javonte Williams had 316. So 203 and 316. So they had 500. He's eclipsed them by over 150 yards in receiving yards. And he had 20 total touchdowns.
Again? Can't load the box
All purpose.
against Justin Herbert, bro. You can load the box against Drew Lock, and everyone.
They're not putting up those same numbers. I'm telling you right now. Javonte Adams might take over that number one role.
Oh, he will. He for sure will this year.
Melvin Gordon's old.
I know. Well, he's on a cheap 1-year deal though, so I don't really care. He's there for a locker room reason.
Because Nick Taylor, obviously Jonathan Taylor had a lot of yards. He had 1,800 rushing yards, which is stupid. Nick Chubb, Joe Mixon, Najee Harris, Dalvin Cook, my boy Dalvin Cook. I have him in fantasy. Let's go. Antonio Gibson, Ezekiel Elliott.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Ezekiel Elliott had 1,000 yards rushing.
I'm sorry. Who won the fantasy championship last year?
Oh, that's fine.
Oh, okay. That's right. It was me.
Well, it's a one-off.
It is a one-off.
Yeah, because that ain't happening again.
Oh,
So
we'll see.
I hope you enjoy that.
Oh, I'm going back to back. We're gonna get a trophy for this shit.
But Ezekiel Elliott, Elijah Mitchell, Derrick Henry, and Damian Harris round out the top 10. So Melvin Gordon and Austin Eckler were just outside the top 10. But they're two different offices. But my opinion, Austin Eckler is is a better all-around player compared to those two running backs.
Sure. But I have two great running backs.
All right, fair enough. And as we finish talking about the damn Broncos, but you guys let me know what you think of that list. I can post it or put it out there. You guys can write your comments on it. But basically, that list was just trying to compare because it got brought up about Dak Prescott if he's under a lot of pressure this year. And I don't think he's under as much pressure as most people think. I think Aaron Rodgers is under a lot of pressure.
Yeah, for sure.
Because of all the...
How far is Dak into his deal right now? 3 years?
He's
He's like halfway through?
I think he's like halfway through. I think he's got 2 or 3 more years left.
Right. So it's not like...
I don't think... because he's... it's pressure due to the fact that the NFC East is down right now.
He has no excuse not to win it.
And he has no excuse. That's just it.
Yeah, he's got to beat Daniel Jones, Carson Wentz, and an up-and-coming Jalen Hurts. But
so it was just funny that it got brought up. But he was like, "Do you think he's under a lot of pressure right now?" I was like, "I don't think he's under as pressure as people think he is." Because at the end of the day, do I think the Cowboys are probably going to win the NFC East unless I get a surprise from the Eagles, which I wouldn't be surprised if the Eagles won the division. But I don't think he's under as much pressure as, say, Aaron Rodgers or to a certain extent Joe Burrow, because they're trying to get back there and make it. For Joe Burrow, it's like, okay, we need to make sure this is not a fluke from last year. Tua's under a lot of pressure. I think Aaron Rodgers and Tua are probably the top 2 on my list of more. No.
what about Jameis?
Because I think Kyler Murray will be gone. I just think what about who? Jameis Winston? No, I don't think it's a pressure situation. Because if he doesn't perform well, he might get benched during the season. So, and we don't know the health of Michael Thomas yet, and Alvin Kamara could get suspended. So I don't think there's a lot of pressure there. Tua's in a lot because of just the moves that they've made in the past month or so.
Offensive
coach, new offensive coordinator, new defensive coordinator. They brought offensive line at Armstead. They brought Tyreek Hill and all these other weapons in. You have the pieces there. The recipe is there. Now you just need to put it all together. And Tua's the one that needs to put it all together. And if he doesn't, then the Dolphins are going to look stupid for even giving the previous coach all that hell and firing him and benching Tua and stuff like that. There's a reason why. So this is the year. Either he shows up or they'll be looking at a quarterback in the next draft. Let's just put it that way.
There's some good ones.
Yeah, there's some good ones. That's why I think like the Seahawks. I mean, this is just a one-off season. They'll be done. I mean, whatever experiment they're gonna do, if they bring Baker Mayfield in, this is just temporary. If they go with Drew Lock or Geno Smith knows the offense. That's why he is there.
Tank for Bryce Young.
They could. I mean, I don't even know they have to tank. I mean, we did the schedule preview already. How many games did I have them win? 7? 6 or 7?
Nah, 7 was generous.
Well, because I think, and the other thing that got brought up was who is the second year quarterback that's gonna do well, and I was like, it's gonna be Trevor Lawrence. There's nowhere to go but up for them. And you brought in Doug Peterson, who is a quarterback guru, and they made some moves to better the offense and the defense. Mm-hmm. So I think Joey Lawrence is going to have a better season this year. Zach Wilson, no. I know, Carson, you're in love with the Jets. I know it. He likes the moves that they made in the draft and all that. They had a good draft, but they're still going to suck. I mean, the other second-year quarterback would be who besides Zach Wilson and
Mills? Davis Mills?
Yeah, no, Houston's a train wreck. After all this Deshaun Watson shit, they're a train wreck. They're not going to be any good.
They seem to believe in that kid, though.
I know they believe in him. I am so glad they do, but it's not going to work out too well for them. But anyway, we get off topic. We already got off topic, but it is time for our favorite segment of the show, and that is our weekly NFL review. Boom! This week, if you saw the show last week, we previewed the Cincinnati Bengals. You did the Bengals, right? Yep. We did the Bengals. And the Bengals were kind of interesting, but this is even going to be more interesting because we're going into the Kansas City Chiefs, who are playing in probably the toughest division in all of football, the AFC West. And if you've been living under a rock for the past several years, they have a guy by the name of Patrick Mahomes, who's in most circles considered the best quarterback in the league. And with a tough schedule and some of the changes to this team, what is to make of the Kansas City Chiefs? Well, I say this. The Kansas City Chiefs are always dangerous as long as Patrick Mahomes is around. Kind of like what we say with Russell Wilson when he was here. As long as Russell Wilson is behind center, you wouldn't have a problem. You always had a chance to win games, and that's what he did. So I put Patrick Mahomes on that level. The difference is Patrick Mahomes wins Super Bowls. Well, Russell Wilson won one. He's going. I mean, they're all pretty even on the 1-1, but I mean the consistent winning. I mean, we saw what happened last year. But anyway, Kansas City obviously coming off the loss of the AFC Championship game to the Cincinnati Bengals. So a lot of moves were made with this roster, particularly on the offense. I mean, Tyreek Hill, we already know, went to Miami. He's gone bye-bye. They bring in Juju Smith-Schuster, who I really like. And I think Juju is out for a little bit of payback, a little bit of revenge. He had a down year last year with injuries and stuff. I mean, and then Pittsburgh let him go because they got some younger talent in there. But I think this is a chance. I mean, and he's not old by any means. I mean, Juju Smith-Schuster is one of the fastest receivers in the league.
Got 295 yards.
Yeah. And along with bringing in Marquez Valdes-Scantling from Green Bay, you still got Travis Kelce, Clyde Edwards-Helaire. They still got a running game. The defense is still solid. And you have Patrick Mahomes. So we'll see. We're going to go through this list here and see what we got. So you guys keep track of this because I've been losing track.
I got you.
But the big question is, how would they fare without Tyreek Hill? Was he that big of a difference maker? Or was he a product of the arm strength and the accuracy of Patrick Mahomes? How will Tyreek Hill fare in Miami with a left-handed quarterback who is not very accurate and doesn't have a lot of power? That's a discussion we'll have to talk about later on. But you do lose some quickness and speed on the outside, which was, that was their main weapon. But you kind of saw that get mitigated a little bit last year. There wasn't a lot of deep balls or a lot of deep ball passes to Tyreek Hill last year. So they had to switch it up a little bit. You saw a lot of Travis Kelce, especially the second half of the season. And Patrick Mahomes was trying to force it a lot. So I think he's going to look at that pass film. He was trying to force a lot of passes last year. That game against the Buffalo Bills in the playoffs, that was absolutely outstanding. You can't get much better than that. So, regular season, week 1 on 9/11, 125 start on the road. They start on the road against Arizona. You get a dub? I was looking at that, and I was like, yeah, I'm going to have to give them a dub, too. So, Kansas City starts 1-0. Next week, is that Monday Night Football? No, that's a Thursday night game. Thursday night game at home, a home opener against the Los Angeles Chargers. And I'm going to have to give them a dub as well on that one. So that gives them a 2-0 start. Next week, September 25th, on the road in Indianapolis against the Colts. Interesting. That's going to be a really difficult matchup. The Colts defense is elite. And he can run the ball, and he got Matt Ryan on the center. You know what? I'm going to give the Colts the win on that one. So that puts KC at 2-1. The following week will be Sunday Night Football, October 2nd, on the road in Tampa against the Buccaneers. Wow.
Rematch from the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
And
that's a tough one, man. That is a tough one.
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
Do we know Andy Reid's record versus Tom Brady?
Not very good.
Just curious.
I don't know, but it's not very good. I'm going to go with the Buccaneers on that one, so I'm going to give KC the loss. That puts them at 2-2. And it doesn't get any easier because the next week they're on Monday Night Football at home against the Raiders. Now we're talking about a Raiders squad that just added Devontae Adams onto their team. And hopefully Darren Waller will be healthy and Josh Jacobs will be healthy. I'm still going to give the KC the win. It will be a close game. Probably come down to a field goal, but I'm going to give KC the win. That puts them at 3-2. And then the next week, it still don't get any easier because they're at home against the Buffalo Bills. A rematch.
It's a brutal schedule.
It is a brutal schedule. We're only on week 6. And they have Arizona, the Los Angeles Chargers, the Colts, Buccaneers, the Raiders, and the Bills.
Every single one of those teams is a potential
playoff team. Every single one. A rematch of the divisional game from the playoffs last year. God, that's a tough one, man.
Buffalo got the dub during the regular season last year, too.
I know, and they got better on defense and on offense, too.
Is it in KC?
Yeah, it's in KC. That's my only hesitation because,
I think you get the Chiefs that one.
that's what I'm leaning towards. I'll go with that. I'm gonna give the Chiefs the win on the Bills, even though it's a rematch.
New Manning Brady rivalry is Allen Mahomes.
Yeah, Mahomes and Josh Allen is going to be a rivalry we're going to watch for years to come because I don't see either one of those guys leaving. and I can see them constantly playing each other in the playoffs, just like the Colts and the Patriots did from years past. Like literally every year, we're seeing them in the playoffs, either in the AFC Championship game or the divisional round. So I would see KC and Buffalo see each other for years to come on in. The next week, so where's I put the Chiefs at right now? I have them at 4-2. The next week, on the road in San Francisco against the 49ers.
Another Super Bowl rematch.
Yes, that's a rematch from 2 years ago. We won't know. I mean, we're just assuming that the roster is as is right now. The likelihood that Garoppolo is going to be on the team is probably unlikely. I think they will have the keys to the Trey Lance, and that's when I'm going to give the dub to KC. So, KC with the dub. And then the next week, they're on Sunday Night Football, primetime again, at home against the Tennessee Titans. Healthy Derrick Henry. They just added Robert Woods.
It's probably a good game, too.
Yeah, it's going to be a good game. I will give KC the dub on that one. They're going to be at home Sunday Night Football. I don't think the Titans have enough scoring power to throw up on KC enough. So, Titans, the Chiefs with the win. The next week, we're moving to November now. At home against the Jacksonville Jaguars, they'll put up a good effort. Jaguars with the win. And then the following week,
Jaguars with the win?
KC with the win. I apologize. No, the Jaguars will put a good effort in. They'll make it interesting. But I will give I'll give the dub to KC. Then the following week, they're on the road in LA against the Chargers. The second game. Now, did I give the Chargers to win the first game?
You did.
I'm going to give KC to win in this one. They'll split. And then right after Thanksgiving, at home against the visiting world champ Los Angeles Rams. Did I give the Rams a win in that game? I think I did.
I think you did, yes. So, I think you got to give the Rams a win.
I'm going to give the Rams a win on that one. I'm pretty sure I gave the Rams a win on that on my Rams preview.
So KC is 8-3.
8-3. And then going into the rematch, I believe in December, the rematch of the AFC Championship game at home or on the road in Cincinnati to take on the Bengals. Did I give the Bengals a win on that? I think I gave them a loss.
Yeah, I think you said Pat Mahomes come back for revenge.
I think I gave them one. So I'm giving the Chiefs the win on that one.
Okay.
Then the following week, December 11th, on the road, Sunday Night Football against the Broncos. Ew.
Denver has not beaten Kansas City since Peyton Manning was on the team, just so you know.
Really?
So there's a lot of emotion going into that game.
You know what? I'm going to give the Broncos a win on that. I'll give the Broncos a win. Then the next week, December 18th, on the road against the Houston Texans. I'm not even going to dignify that. I'm just going to go with that. Sorry, excuse for a franchise. I'll go with the Chiefs with the win on that one. And then Christmas Eve, at home against the Seahawks. I already know I gave the Chiefs the win on that one. And then New Year's Day, at home against the Broncos. That I'm going to give. What's that?
I already know.
Yeah, I'm giving the Chiefs a win on that one.
Fair. I won't argue with that.
And then to round up the season, we don't know the time yet, but January 8th, on the road to finish up the season against the Raiders in Vegas.
Give the Chiefs the win the first one.
Yeah, I'm thinking I'm going to give the Raiders a win on this one to finish it out. I think the Raiders will have something to play for still at that time because the Raiders are going to – it's going to – like I said last week, all four of those teams in the AFC West will be fighting for wild card or playoff spots. I think it will come down to the end of that. But I mean, they're going to beat each other up. It's going to come down to the rest of your conference schedule and the games that you must win. Like here, you got to beat the Texans.
And the Jags.
You got to beat the Jags. You need to at least split against the Raiders, the Broncos, and the Chargers. You got to. And I think those teams play each other tough enough to where they can split. Now, I know the Raiders have had issues. They always play the Chargers tough. The Broncos and the Raiders, I mean, they beat each other up too pretty good. I mean, all those teams are elite, man. It's going to come down to what the rest of your conference schedule is.
If they were all in different divisions, they would all probably win.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm looking at the rest of their conference schedule, and I'm looking at it, and I'm like, I mean, you got to take care of your business against the Colts. I don't think you're beating the Buccaneers. And the Bills, I'm still 50-50 on.
I think the Bills really can make a run at it, man.
I think the Bills, too, can make a run, but I don't see them beating them at home in Arrowhead.
Yeah, I think.
But it's going to be, I think it's going to come down to overtime. It'll be a field goal game.
The Bills will win the Super Bowl this year if they can get home field advantage.
If they have home field?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I still don't disagree. I still disagree with that.
I'm just saying, man, nobody goes up and wins in Buffalo in January.
There's a couple teams I think can go up there and win in January. I think the Chiefs are one of those teams.
I don't think so.
They get as cold weather in Kansas City as they do in Buffalo. Maybe not all the snow, but they play in.
That's the difference, is the snow. Now think about just who the two quarterbacks are, right? One guy is a baseball player from Texas.
Well, we haven't gone into the Bills' schedule yet, so I'm not gonna make that determination yet.
But Josh Allen played at Wyoming. That's all I'm saying.
I don't care where he played at Wyoming. Why do you always do that? He always puts he plays in North Dakota or Wyoming. That bullshit. Like, come on, man. Anyway, that's our preview. So what do we have the Chiefs at this year? 12-5. Is that going to be enough to win the division? Probably so. It'll be a matter of if they get home field or not. And we can argue that. So copy that down or save the show. We have the Chiefs at 12-5. So far, we've previewed the Chiefs. We previewed the Bengals. We've previewed the Seahawks. We have previewed the Rams. And we have previewed the Dallas Cowboys. The next show we're going to do, let's see what we're going to preview. We are going to preview the San Francisco 49ers next show. That was the Rams opponent from the NFC Championship game. So we're just going down, working our way down. We've already previewed the defending Super Bowl champs, the Rams. I already said, what did I say the Rams are going to be, 9-7? Or 9-8? Or 10-7. I think it was 10-7. I don't know if that's going to be enough for the Rams to win the division, but the NFC is significantly weaker this year. It might be a chance for the 49ers or even the Arizona Cardinals to leapfrog, but we already know. San Francisco don't even know what their quarterback is right now. And they're not too impressed with Trey Lance right now at the moment, but we'll see.
They just run the ball and play defense.
But yeah, I mean, we were going to preview the San Francisco 49ers. What's going to happen with Jimmy Garoppolo? Is Trey Lance ready to take the helm? The defense is still elite. They're a top 5 defense. Running game wise, Raheem Mostert's gone. He's in Miami. Elijah Mitchell's still there. There's a lot of questions with the 49ers, and we'll preview their schedule this coming week, okay? And then the one thing I'm going to leave off with before we sign off, did anybody watch the season finale of Obi-Wan Kenobi? I'm not going to do any spoilers. I will say, though, is that lightsaber scene between Obi-Wan Kenobi and Darth Vader, and you're seeing it all over social media, they're saying it's probably top 2 or 3 lightsaber scenes of all the Star Wars shows and movies ever. And it lives up to the billing. It is that good. Carson, hurry the fuck up. Because
I'm waiting for
it is
Carson.
one of the classic. I mean, everybody loves the.
Overall thoughts on season 1 as a whole?
It was good. Wasn't the best.
Okay.
It was better than. Let's see. It's better than Boba Fett.
Okay.
Not as good as The Mandalorian because The Mandalorian's on a whole nother level. I'm excited for season 3 next year.
Is it like kind of like season 1 Mandalorian?
Yeah.
Kind of that slower, like.
It's. I thought they came out the gate smoking hot. I thought that first episode was fantastic. Episode 2 was like, eh. It was okay. Episode 3 was, it was okay. But episode 4 was great. Episode 5 was great. And episode 6 was phenomenal.
That's good.
Yeah.
So,
And they ended up with the bang. And now they're saying it might get a second season. I don't necessarily think we should do a second season. I will still watch it if they did a second season. But it's not something that fans were clamoring to, but I like how it was a new story that we hadn't heard about or seen on the big screen. But I'm telling you right now, that lightsaber fight between Darth Vader and Obi-Wan it's on my top 2 or 3. Because the throne room scene in Return of the Jedi, that's everybody's favorite. The lightsaber battle between Obi-Wan and Anakin in Revenge of the Sith, that's a really good one.
that's amazing.
Mm-hmm. You can make the case for Empire Strikes Back between Luke Skywalker and Darth Vader is one of the iconic lightsaber scenes. What's up?
A New Hope. The very first.
Yeah, but I mean, that's a classic. I wouldn't necessarily tell you that my top 5 because I like Anakin and Obi-Wan's lightsaber scene in Revenge of the Sith because of the speed
And the choreography.
and the choreography that they were doing it in. That was amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And in this one, you're getting that feel again, but you're seeing Obi-Wan and Vader use some of their other powers to get an advantage on one another, and it's pretty fucking awesome. But you're seeing that same skill and choreography, but Vader's limited because of his suit. I mean, that suit is just having to move around in that thing, but I mean, he does some shit that I'm like, oh my god. I mean, I've watched it 3 times over. It's like, man. So if you haven't seen it, it's on Disney Plus right now. Check it out. Also on Disney Plus right now is Doctor Strange: The Multiverse of Madness. If you haven't seen the movie in the theater, it's on Disney Plus for you to stream. I did go see Elvis, and I'm telling you, it's 2 hours 40 minutes, but you don't even know it that much time went by. It's a phenomenal movie. If you don't know anything, it's a biopic of Elvis and the way the movie was put together and how Tom Hanks was absolutely phenomenal as Colonel Tom Parker. And if you don't know who that is, he was the manager of Elvis back in the day before, while he was alive when he was doing his big thing. Took him for half of his money and shit. But phenomenal movie. Tom Hanks. This movie, it has Oscar buzz. It lived up to the reputation. It's going to get some serious Oscar buzz. Tom Hanks will probably get nominated for Best Supporting Actor for his role. I mean, you see it's Tom Hanks, but I mean, if a person can make you hate a person in a movie, he's done his job. And Tom Hanks makes you hate this person really bad. So if you haven't seen Elvis, check it out. It's done well. Top Gun, what can you say? It just crossed the 1 billion mark today, worldwide. It's probably Tom Hanks' biggest movie ever that he's done.
Cruise.
Yeah, Tom Cruise. Did I say Tom Hanks again? Oh, yeah, Tom Cruise. Big shout out to Tom Cruise. The only thing I didn't like about going to see Top Gun, and I've seen it twice, is that damn Mission Impossible trailer that don't come out till next year. I don't understand. It don't come out till next summer. So, I mean, they did the same thing with Top Gun Maverick. That trailer came out 2 years ago. And with COVID and the delays and everything, I'm like, is this movie real? I mean, I finally got to see it, but I mean, it finally came out in theaters after 2.5 years. But I'm like, man, alive, what's going on? But definitely go check it out, Evis. If you haven't seen that, my next movie that I'm going to go see Minions this Friday. My kids, they they want to go see Minions, but the next big movie I've been waiting on is Thor: Love and Thunder, which comes out next week, and I've been waiting on this movie for quite a bit, and I'm super excited about it. Christian Bale's in it. We got Natalie Portman, who's cut up, by the way. I guess she did weight training for like 4 or 5 months, and she looks. I mean, I always think Natalie Portman is sexy, but now that she got a little muscle mass on her, I'm excited about it. But Thor: Love and Thunder, it's at about an 80% right now on Rotten Tomatoes, which is pretty good for a movie that's been not out for another week. But the reviews have been pretty good. It's the same director from Thor Ragnarok. If you haven't seen Thor Ragnarok, really good. It's probably the best of the Thor movies, so I'm expecting this one. And the cast, you're integrating the Guardians of the Galaxy, so Chris Pratt, all that Groot, all that's going to be in there. Rocket, my boy Rocket, Bradley Cooper. So I'm excited to see this. Next week, man, what we got next week? Or the week out. Next week I'll be gone. We won't be here next week. The following week we'll do our preview of the San Francisco 49ers schedule. We'll figure that out and see what their schedule is looking like. Free agency will be starting for the NBA. What some of the moves are going to be happening? Is Jalen Brunson going to get dealt to the Knicks? I think he's gone. I think he'll be a New York Knick by next week. Are the Nets going to make a move for Kyrie? They're going to trade him off somewhere. That's going to be the big news. We'll see what the suspension will be for Deshaun Watson. That's what everybody's looking for. And then the Seahawks going to make a move for Baker Mayfield and add another quarterback to this roster. I'd be down with it if it's for the cheap. I'm talking $6 to $8 million. No more than that, because he's not worth more than $6 to $8 million. But I like the idea and the premise that Pete Carroll has to put him in a direct quarterback competition with Drew Lock and Geno Smith to see who will be ready. So I like the premise of that, but I'm not doing it for. If you're talking 12, 13 million, I'm like, no, thank you. Unless you're going to give us some players back in compensation. Nick Chubb. I'll take that. But we'll see what happens. And then, before we sign off, we got to talk about this real quick. The brawl from Sunday. And the brawl that happened where the bench is cleared after Jesse Winker was hit in the thigh, and that pitcher was brought in, by the way, just to hit him. But it all stemmed from earlier on in that series. I remember 2 games before, there was a ball thrown at Justin Upton's head. Now, Eric Swanson came in the next game, and a ball he threw, it was like a 96-mile-an-hour fastball that almost hit Mike Trout in the head. And I was like, watch, there's about to be retaliation. And what happens? Second inning, they bring this pitcher in, and first pitch to Jesse Winker hits him right in the upper thigh, almost to the booty. And Jesse Winker's like, what's going on? What's going on? What is this? He has his hands up. He's walking. He starts to walk down the line. Then he hears somebody chirping from the Angels dugout, and then all hell broke loose. I mean, Jesse Winker runs over there. Then you see JP flying in. Julio, I don't know why he got suspended, but Julio was just trying to get people off. Man, I saw Marco Gonzalez tossing people. Taylor Trammell was throwing cats. And you had Anthony Rendon with his cast on trying to hit people with his cast and shit. That was crazy. That was the craziest fight I've seen in a while. But the suspensions came down. There was 12 players and 12 people in total suspended. Only 3 Mariners. The rest were Angels. And half of the 8 people from the Angels got suspended. Half of them were coaches, head coach, pitching coach, and the assistant and the catcher's coach got tossed. Jesse Winker got 7 games. Of course, all of these will be appealed. Jesse Winker got 7. J.P. Hoffer got 3 games. And Julio Rodriguez got 2 games. Now, they're going to get appealed. They said they can stagger them. And what what's funny is that after the game, a girl ordered pizza for Jesse Winker and had it delivered to him through DoorDash. It was crazy. I was like, what the hell's going on? Jesse Winker's come this... he's trending, basically. But the one thing I was saying is, does this kill the momentum of the Lakers? Or not the Lakers, the Mariners. Because the Mariners had won 5 or 6 games before that. And they were playing some really good baseball. So they made a trade. They got Carlos Santana from the Kansas City Royals yesterday. I think that part of that move was A, because Ty France is on a 10-day DL. And B, and my question was, and I don't know if you guys can answer this or you want to answer it, but my question was, is the move to get Carlos Santana, who's an average baseball player, who can play first base or catch, is this move because of the suspensions that are coming down the line on top of the injuries? Or is this move to make the Mariners better? And I really can't figure it out. He's going to play tonight. Mariners are playing the Orioles tonight, T-Mobile Park, after that embarrassing 9-2 loss yesterday. So against a terrible Orioles squad. Awful Orioles squad. So I was at the game yesterday, trust me. It was nothing. Everybody was playing. Julio was playing. JP was playing. Jesse Winker was playing. They obviously appealed their suspensions, but it was awful to watch last night. Let's put it that way. But I was trying to figure out, is this move because Ty France is hurt and they can just plug him in at first base immediately? Carlos Santana is an average baseball player. He's going to give you some home runs. He averages about 240, 250, and he's been hitting the ball really well as of late. But is this a long-term situation? I don't know. So I'm kind of curious to see how he comes out the gates today, and we'll see about that. But the suspension and the brawl has been all over TV. So I will say this. The Mariners have been hit by balls 26 times. Hit by a pitch 26 times this season. That's the most in baseball. So just kind of put it in perspective. The next team that's close has 12. We've doubled in hit balls, hit by pitches by any other team, far and away. I think Ty France has 8 or 9. So, getting hit by a pitch is part of the game. It happens, but when you're aiming for people's head, now I'm not saying that Eric Swanson tried to hit Mike Trout in the head, but the next game you hit Julio in the back and you hit Jesse Winker in the thigh. That's just straight retaliation. There's no place in the game for it. So we'll see. Robbie Ray's pitching tonight, by the way. The Mariners are 7 games under 500. It's been a tough season, man. This has been really tough if you're a Mariners fan. But we did see signs of light last week. That road trip, they went 5 of 6 games. If they can get back to 500 by the All-Star break, which the All-Star break is coming up. All-Star break's about 3 weeks away. If they can get back to 500 by the All-Star break, I think they still have a shot. To be honest, I'm really, if everybody can come together. The pitching's been excellent. The Mariners' starting pitching is the best in baseball over the past month. They have an ERA under 2.30 over the past month, which is phenomenal. I'm talking Robbie Ray, Chris Flexen, Logan Gilbert, Chris Flexen. I already said Chris Flexen. Logan Gilbert, Robbie Ray. Marco Gonzalez has probably been our best pitcher. And George Corby, he pitched well last night too. So we'll keep an eye on that, and we'll keep checking the status on the Mariners. But yeah, lots of good stuff coming up. Thank you guys for tuning in. And big shout out. God, I forgot about this. How did I forget? Big shout out to the Colorado Avalanche for winning the Stanley Cup last week. It is their first Cup win in 21 years. Congratulations. They beat the two-time defending champs, Tampa Bay Lightning, who were going for the three-peat. Colorado was like, not going to do that. So big shout out to Colorado Avalanche for winning a championship. I didn't want them to win since they took out my Blues, but...
Fun fact, the Avs now join the Seattle Storm and the Chicago Bulls as the only three teams in professional sports to be undefeated in the championship series.
Oh, God. They've only been to 2 cups. They've been to 3? So they've won 3 cups. They won 3 cups. They haven't lost?
Nope, never lost.
Well, that's great. Congrats, Avalanche. It won't happen again. I'm coming for revenge. My Blues are coming for revenge. Anyway, congrats to the Avalanche. I love you. You guys are hell of a series, hell of a Stanley Cup playoffs. I gotta tell you, Stanley Cup playoffs are unlike. I mean, I think the NFL has a good playoff system, but the Stanley Cup playoffs are pretty good. The NBA playoffs kind of got drowned out, and that because of the time that was between games. You know what I'm saying?
It takes too long.
It takes too long. The NHL, you play game 1, you have a day off, you play game 2. You have a day off, play game 3. You have a day off, play game 4. If it's a sweep, it's a sweep. Wait for the next team, you start it up. NBA, play game 1, 2 days off. Play game 2. Oh, we got to put it on prime time, 2 days off. Game 3. It's like a week and a half before we get to game 3. It's ridiculous. So I think that needs to change. Where the NFL is perfect. It's a one and done situation. Like
the only thing they got to fix is OT.
In the playoffs?
Yeah, they got to go college football rules.
So each team have possession?
Mm-hmm.
I'd be open to that.
It'd be more fun to watch.
It would be more fun to watch. Because that shit can go all day.
But yeah, and then after 2 OTs, we got to go for 2, man. That's where it gets wildin'.
I don't. I mean, I know they were talking about it, but I don't know if they came to an agreement. But I mean, look, Josh Allen bitched about it last year, and I'm like, so what makes you different from any other team who has not had possession and lost in a playoff game? It's happened before.
Right. That's why it's an issue that needs to change.
Well, why is it now an issue?
No, it has been.
I've been saying it too, but I mean, because Josh Allen said it.
No, he's just the most recent iteration of it.
Well, I mean, Patrick, that happened to the Chiefs like previously.
Wasn't in the playoffs though.
I don't know, man. I just think. So I just find it ironic because I wonder how the Chiefs would have reacted if the Chiefs were on the other foot. I don't know if they would have probably said anything, or they probably would have been like, "It is what it is."
I bet you they would have said something.
Yeah, I mean, you could be right. We just don't know.
Though, man. Like, that's just who he is. Bill Belichick, that happens to him. Bill Belichick don't say.
Or what? Why would you? I mean, yeah, the Bill Belichick approach is we should have played better.
That's his approach to everything.
Yeah, well, but he's right. I mean, instead of saying,
don't get into that situation.
Right, don't get yourself in that situation where you're going to overtime and you don't know if you're going to win the coin toss or not. If you're banking on the coin toss to help you decide if you're going to win or lose, that's not a good approach. Why did you even get there in the first place? Oh, because my defense, we called the wrong defensive play, and Travis Kelce went 60 yards up the middle on me. You know what I mean?
No, it's just a better move for the fans, not for football. It's a better move for watching the game.
From an NFL standpoint, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I just mean from
Well, from a fan standpoint, yeah, hell yeah, I would like it to be college rules.
Yeah, right. Like,
but it's also good for the NFL because that's.
Yeah, it's just not good for the game of football.
No, it's not good for the game of football because no players are ever happy. There's no happy medium with players in the NFL. So you either take it like a man, or we change the rules again like they've been doing. Like you notice kickoffs are non-existent pretty much. I mean, they're just kicking to the end zone. But I don't know. I'd be open to it. I think they should at least try it out for a year and see how it goes. Just like the change in the playoff, it works by adding a couple more teams. So, and what do you guys think? Do you guys think they should change the NFL playoff rule in overtime? Each team get a possession? It kind of is each team getting a possession, I guess.
Yeah, it's just sudden death off a touchdown.
If somebody scores off the touchdown, the game's over.
Mm-hmm.
But if they score a field goal,
yeah, you get another shot.
You get a shot. So it all comes full circle to where, okay, we need to dial up some plays to make it so we can get the possession back or stop them, which is easier said than done playing the Kansas City Chiefs. So I guess it's also matchup too, because the Kansas City Chiefs were, in that game in particular, they were unstoppable. I was like, they're not losing this game. Period. I never got that feeling that they're going to lose that game. No matter, and Buffalo took the lead late. But they called an all-out blitz, and I'm like, why are you guys calling a blitz? You see the corner was playing up on him. You had Tyreek Hill doubled. I'm like, why are you guys not putting extra coverage on Travis Kelce, the best tight end in the league? Now that Rob Gronkowski's gone, why are you not putting extra coverage on that? But anyway, thank you guys for tuning in. These are questions that we could. Thank you guys for supporting us, by the way. But my question to you, should they change the NFL playoff overtime rules? Since Zach brought it up. Since it would be good for the fans, I guess. Or would you like that? Would you want to change it? You want to keep it the way it is? Let us know, okay? Until next week. Oh, by the way, and I keep getting topic after topic, and this is my last football thing, I promise. Terry McLaurin, big shout out to Terry McLaurin. He's probably one of the most underrated top tier wide receivers in the league. What did you say?
Oh, yeah.
Got an extension today, 3-year extension. He's been wanting some money. Got a 3-year extension worth $71 million, $28 million guaranteed, and he would be a top 5 highest paid wide receivers in the game. Which this number, the first thing I thought about when I saw this number, man, that just helped out DK Metcalf. DK Metcalf just buying his time right now. He's about to get paid. Probably by the Seahawks. They'd be stupid to let him go. Stupid. His talent, it's not him. We need a quarterback to get behind center to throw to him. But they'd be done. He's your best player. DK's just waiting back, just biding his time. He's gonna get all the money. It would shock me if they can't come to an agreement with the Seahawks. It would shock me. You want to lock him in for the next 5 to 7 years. You want to lock him in. So that's all. The first thing that popped in my head, because everybody else has gotten paid. All the big wide receivers, well, except for OBJ, which I think the Rams are close to getting a deal done with him. But even though the Rams don't need OBJ, they honestly don't need Odell Beckham. But I think they want to bring him back because he was part of that team and he was helping them until he hurt his ankle in the Super Bowl. But the Rams honestly don't need OBJ. Not with signing Allen Robinson to the team. That was a huge get for them. So, but yeah, the first thing that popped in my head was like, congratulations. Terry McLaurin deserves all that money. He's a solid wide receiver. I had him on fantasy. It got me close to my repeat championship in my other league. I will be champion in this one that we're in now this year. Mm-hmm. All right. So you keep doubting me, man. I like when people doubt me because I did say it last year and I almost beat your ass. I'm telling you right now. Second place, man. It was so bitter. Anyway, our league is not a big money league, so I can. The other league I won, that's a big money league.
Yeah, but this is bragging rights. This is way better than money.
Oh, I guess. Anyway, yeah. By the way, I had an idea, and let me guys know, the guys who are viewing right now, let me know what you think. But I was thinking about doing an off-top fantasy football league. Should be a pretty good idea. We'll post it out if you want to get in on it. We'll get more details as we get closer. Is it too early to start talking fantasy football? I don't think it is. In a month we're going to be at the end of July. We're going to be in training camp.
We should do like a $200 buy-in, and then all the money goes to the winner, and they can decide which charity of choice they can send it off to.
That's a good idea. So we'll get more details as we get going on that. But anybody who loves fantasy football, I'm a huge fantasy football fan, and I've won one of my leagues 2 years in a row. And then I lost this other one that I had going last year. I came in second place. So that should show you the skills that I have. But, I mean, I love competition, and I love playing fantasy football. So if you're good, and we'll give more details later on as we get closer to the season, but it's never too early to start about fantasy football and getting the league set up and stuff like that, because you got to think about drafts, but you want to wait until free agency kind of calms down a little bit, which for the most part it has, but there's to still be some teams that are on the move. So we'll see what happens with that. But anyway, thank you guys for tuning in. Tune in next time. We're going to preview the San Francisco 49ers schedule. What happens with Deshaun Watson? Is Baker Mayfield coming to Seattle? I hope not. And and we will preview Thor, Love and Thunder, along with some other movies and stuff like that. And then Stranger Things Volume 2 last season going to come out too. So we'll be talking about that as well. Thank you guys. Until next week, peace.